1873. There's not a lot of shipyards that can say they've been in business since 1873. Benetti Yachts has built a ton of boats, and right now we're standing next to a perfect example of a 2005. This one is part of the Vision series, and a tremendous amount of vision went into this boat specifically. The original owner built this boat after chartering hull number 1 numerous times over the course of 2 years. So a tremendous amount of what he learned went into what this boat offers. I think you're gonna jump on board with me and see all these details and probably the best 145 Benetti that's available. I'm Will Knopfsinger with Denison Yachting. Let's step on board. We're gonna begin today's walkthrough up here on the sun deck of Seascape. And it's a super impressive sun deck. Really expansive, and a lot of the key features on this boat start to come into focus because this is all doable thanks to the tender garage that we're gonna see later on. Typically, where this hot tub is would be pushed up forward, and you'd have all your tenders kind of stacked up right here, which also makes it harder to get them on and off the boat. So this not only frees up space, but also gets you down in the water a whole lot quicker. Back here in the aft section, we've got the most pronounced of the key features on the sun deck, the hot tub. It's a really nice, well-placed hot tub. You've still got great sun pads all the way around. That gives a cool ambiance as well. You've got the nice Tucci umbrella that can also be moved to other areas on the sun deck. And overall, just a very nice spot to kick back, relax, and soak in the hot tub. That sun pad kind of wraps into a cocktail seating area. And then over here on the starboard side, we've got some storage with a countertop that has been dedicated to an outdoor pizza maker. And that's a pretty cool feature to find on board. Moving forward up here, past this little cocktail table, we've got one of the 2 dining areas on board the boat. This is a little less formal. This is more like a place to grab lunch or just kind of hang out with friends in a cool setting. And we'll see the other one of the dining rooms that's going to get used for the formal events later on in today's walkthrough. Over here on the port side, we've got a little storage area and a cooktop. And then behind me, the second most prominent feature is the outdoor bar. And we're going to see that throughout the boat. This is a very social boat. We've got bars in every single guest entertaining area. This is no exception, and this will probably get used the most. Up here we've got a sink, we've got an ice maker, refrigeration, and a dumbwaiter that we'll check out that comes up from the galley for serving this area. Moving to starboard, we get out from under the shade. We've got a little lounging area, a little dedicated workout space. There's 2 of those on board. And then we move forward to this little seating area. It's a nice spot to just kick back and relax while you're underway. And it kind of rounds out the flybridge because you've got everything you need here. There's really not much more you could ask for. Coming down from the sun deck to this spectacular sky lounge with one of the most incredible, innovative indoor-outdoor dining room experiences you could possibly find on a yacht this size. The venue in itself is amazing, but the dining room's got some really cool features, like this table. It's got plenty of space for all the guests to sit around. It's also got a built-in Lazy Susan, which is really nice because it is pretty expansive. And in the middle, an operating compass. It's a nice nautical touch, and you're starting to see the theme of the boat and the decor. It's all in really good shape, and you'll start seeing that throughout. Just aft of the actual dining area, we've got a really cool cocktail lounge kind of configuration here in the back. Got the 2 tables, really nice L-shaped seating. It's a beautiful spot to just kick back and relax. And it really adds a nice element to the dining experience you just saw. Just for the table, we've got these pocket doors, which help keep this a private setting when you're having dinner here. But also, it prevents this space from being calculated into the 443 gross tons on this boat. So we have a lot more space than what that number tells you. That brings us forward to this bar. Like we said, the boat has a bar in every single entertaining space. This is no exception. And you also might have been wondering, how are they going to service this dining setting, being that it's a whole level up? Well, this is a really nice setup because it's got access directly down to the galley with a private staircase just for the crew to be able to service all of the guests as they sit around that table having an excellent meal. Taking a look back here, we've got really high-end appliances. Everything you're gonna need. Refrigeration, Hachisaki ice maker, which that's what's throughout the entire boat. Fantastic. Then we've got the pantry back here. There's a microwave to kind of heat things up as you need, and also a really innovative step to access and give you more space when you're trying to prep. Over here on the starboard side, we start to see what we would expect to find on the sky lounge of a super yacht like this. Low profile furniture lets all this light flood in through these huge windows, And something else Benetti did was they forewent having walkarounds, which really gave you a much larger feel in here. And I think it was a must, because when this is sectioned off, it becomes that second salon. And they did a really nice job of giving you the most space they could. Over here on the port side, we cross. We've got really pretty parquet floors underneath our feet, by the way, that go nicely with the decor on board. Another seating area here, again low profile, nice big windows, an owner's desk, really rounding out what's an excellent sky lounge. Moving forward, we come into the main staircase up from the main deck to this sky lounge area. We've got a day head over here. Then all the way forward, we've got the helm station. We're going to pass you off to Captain Addison. He's going to show you what's going on up there.
So welcome to the bridge deck. On the port side, we've got our emergency equipment. We've got fire, watertight doors, and emergency satellite communications. So now we're coming down center side bridge. Here you've got cameras, X-band, S-band radar, chart plotter, all the necessary equipment. It's actually very well laid out. Everything is reachable from the center position. No needing to stretch all the way from one side to the other. But you do have two separate seating environments, so the person on watch is literally physically there. And that allows them to see out the windows, keep track of your position, and make plots if needed on paper, while anybody that's secondary or maybe not on watch has another place that they can sit, do paperwork, maybe do emails, other communications that might be necessary. It's a very well laid out space for ease of use and multiple people moving around at the same time. So now that we're on the starboard side, I'm showing you the door, but it is available on both sides. Access to your wing stations, docking station, wing station here, as well as crew access to the bow for ground tackle. Your both windlasses and everything are up there. We've also got a desk here. I use this for my desk. Officer can also use it for their desk. And then the captain's quarters are behind that. So starboard side of the pilot house, as you're walking aft, you enter the captain's quarters. It's got an enormous amount of storage space, but the best part is the view. You're on the upper deck. You have the biggest window of any room, with the exception of the master, and you've got a nice view of everything with direct access to the pilot house. You've got a private bath and more closet storage than you could ever need.
Coming down from that helm to this lower aft deck is a really special place on board this yacht. This is kind of the retreat from the beach club that we're going to see here in a little bit. And you'd come up these stairs after a whole day out on the water, and this is a great spot to kind of kick back and relax. You want to get out of the sun, you're not ready to go inside, this is the place to do it. Down here we've got a ton of stuff that the captain's added and that Benetti did that make it a really functional space. Like when you first come on both sides, there's refrigeration. So when you're coming off the dock, or if you're coming up from the beach club area, there's a little drawer refrigerator on each side for you to grab a drink. In the back aft corners on both sides, we've got a mooring area where you've got really robust cleats, a winch, foot pedals, and it's a really nice, easy access spot for when your crew's docking the boat. And that gangway we saw earlier can also be mounted back here to either port or starboard. If we walk forward towards the main doors, you've got storage on either side. All the controls for the lights and the outlets are found in these watertight stainless steel housing, including the access to the salon, our next stop. Moving forward from the aft deck on the main level, aboard SEASCAPE, we come into this main salon, and it is a huge main salon. There's a ton of advantages that you get from having your formal dining all in one spot up on the Sky Lounge. This is one of those things that you get, an amplified space for you to hang out and entertain, and this spot doubles as kind of the movie theater on board. It's a fantastic setup, and we're going to dive in a little deeper. Here in the starboard aft corner, we've got another bar. This is fully stocked with all the glassware, all the dishware that you need to service this space, as well as a refrigerator, a sink, and an ice maker. Over here on the port side of the aft salon, we've got a little card table. This is freestanding. There are 2 more chairs. It's perfect for game night, and it's a really nice table. All of the soft decor on board this yacht was replaced in the last 24 months. There's also extra material, so if you needed to replace anything along the way, you've got it. As we walk forward, you'll note on both port and starboard, there's built-in cabinetry with tons of storage. And I'll also point out that in the event you didn't want to keep this furniture, everything is freestanding in here, so you can easily customize this and tailor it to your style. We're here on the port side forward of the main salon. We've got the stew pantry, or you might know it as a stew nook. This is a great prep station. It's got the stairs that come down for the crew to access the upper salon, which we saw earlier, and then this whole space, which is really where everything gets prepped before it goes out to be served. You've got a dumbwaiter here to get things all the way up to the top, and as we progress further, we go past a ton of appliances. A new Miele dishwasher, Sub-Zero wine cooler, Miele fridge, and Miele freezer. Everything that this area needs for service. We move forward from that pantry area and enter the galley. This is where all the meals for the guests and crew will be prepared. Truly everything a chef will need is found here, including more refrigerators when we first walk in. 2 more dishwashers, a trash compactor, tons of prep space. There's some custom additions that the captain did, like the storage compartment for trays when they come out of the oven. Any chef would love this space, with a huge cooktop, a fryer, 2 warming drawers, and another thing the captain added were modifications to this sink, making it larger and adding custom slide trays for straining and prep work. A lot of ingenuity here. There's also more Gaggenau appliances, including an oven and 2 convection microwaves. From here, we're going to head down and access the stairwell to the crew quarters. From the galley, we come down into the crew quarters on board SEASCAPE, and that's a real treat because sometimes you guys don't get to see the crew quarters, but here we come right into their main salon and living area, and this turns into a dining room, multifunction, you know? Big windows, that's something that doesn't exist on most yachts this vintage. On yachts in general, to get that kind of thing for crew is awesome. Down here we got a 4-4 layout, you can put all your crew in one place. And all in all, I think this was a really well done crew quarters, especially when you see how much space is still on this boat. Located just forward of that crew salon, you've got this companionway where the staterooms are flanking either side. All the way forward, I wanted to show you guys what makes this yacht stand out from the other Benetti 145s. It's one of many features that does, but provisioning is huge if you want to actually go explore. And finding things like this walk-in freezer is huge, so you can get off the grid and do that. And speaking of that, we do have another walk-in fridge. We'll go check that out next. Off to the port side of that companionway, we've got a staircase that brings us down into this laundry center. And here we also find our walk-in refrigerator, which again, I can't emphasize enough how great it is to have something like this on board. I mean, look at all the space. It's great to find if you really want to go travel the globe. So also, this is the laundry center. Just aft, we've got the washers and dryers. There's a set of 2 of each, and they're either rebuilt or new. We've got tons of storage down here. We've got a roller so you can roll sheets. We've got an ironing board so you can do all the guests' clothes on board or the crew's uniforms. It's a really complete room to find on a yacht that gets it to that super yacht category. We're in the laundry center facing aft, and I'm going to show you one of the things that makes this vessel super unique and cool. You've got access through this door to a tunnel that takes you all the way back to the engine room. You've also got access to your fuel on either side, and over here on the starboard side, we've got a chlorinator, which helps keep us MCA compliant. From here, let's move back to the main salon, continuing along the starboard side. On the way forward from that main salon, we come into the main foyer of the yacht. Right there, we've got access that you often find as the primary way into the boat for your guests. So this is a very important space on board because it's the first impression that your guests are going to get. Coming in here, you can obviously see beautiful stonework on display, really nice interior design work, and the main arteries that take you all throughout this vessel are right here. Stepping further forward, we've got our day head for this level found here, and then access into the galley. All the way forward, we've got one of the more prominent parts of this yacht on display. The owner's suite is pretty special. First, we're greeted with this office, and it's a great size. You've got all the room you need, you can make it completely private, and that gives you a little bit of solitude if you got to get some work done or you just need some personal time to get things accomplished. Forward a couple of steps on the starboard side outboard, we've got the first of his and hers heads. This has got the shower. I like having that window. It gives you a little extra visibility outside and brings in the natural light. Adjacent, we've got closet space, and it's abundant. Both sides of this are full-size closets with hanging lockers. There's a ton of storage in here, and there was a ton of storage in that office, so there will be no shortage of your personal belongings needing to find a home. Just behind me, we've got a walk-in closet, and then the second half of that his and hers head. This master stateroom is to absolutely die for. It is by far one of the best that I've seen in this class. You've got Amazing views, 180 degrees. What a wonderful way to wake up in the morning when you're in the tropics or if you're in the Med. If that wasn't enough storage, we've got 2 credenzas, both with desks, so there's even more storage space. We've got a larger than king size berth sitting right here, pop-up TV behind me, so when that's in the down position, this on anchor cannot be beat. Capping off what's already an absolute knockout stateroom is a private owner's terrace, which again, we are on a 145. It's pretty remarkable to have everything that we find on board this yacht. Just to note, we don't have the cushions on board for this shoot. There would be a set here for this little seating area with this teak table, and then over here, a little lounging area on top for sunning. And cool factor, underneath this, we have a full set of spare props, and you'd use that davit to drop them in. Rounding out this main deck, we're all the way forward, and we've got kind of a business end of the boat. Just beyond this little divide, we've got all the access to our ground tackle. Here is the entrance into the crew for an emergency exit. Here is access into the forepeak. On either side, we've got Muir winches, and these things are serious. The ground tackle mirrors each other to port and starboard, and this one has a new motor and a new chain. And it's important to note, both have 100 meters of chain. From up here in the bow, we're gonna head back through the master stateroom, into the foyer, and down the main stairs, into the lower cabins. We come down a beautiful staircase, and it's a real showpiece, and into a foyer. And it's got this center credenza that's great for setting up coffee in the mornings, and there's also a little refrigerator so you can grab a drink at night. Something this boat did that I really like was name all the staterooms. We'll start on the outboard side forward, where we've got mirror image staterooms, named the Ritz-Carlton and the Four Seasons. These rooms are a mirror image of each other. And here we find 2 twin beds, beautiful decor, tons of space. I can't emphasize enough how much room you get for this being the supposed smallest room on board. Each room on board even has a desk, which sounds underrated, but let's face it, everybody's got to get some work done now and then, or get ready to go out at night. Pretty much everywhere you look in this room has storage. And then all the way forward, we've got the ensuite. Located aft and inboard, we have the Waldorf Astoria and the St. Regis. Again, these are mirror image staterooms. They're the same size as the rooms we just saw, but they both feature a walk-around queen-size berth facing aft, huge TVs, again we get desks, loads of storage, and then all the way aft en suites that feature beautiful stonework. From here, we're going to move back to the stern and explore the tender garage. This is one of the more remarkable features on board this yacht. The swim platform, the beach club, garage, it's an absolutely vital area on a yacht like this. As you saw up top, it gave us a ton of space up there to put the tenders down below. And then you also get this space that really connects you with the water. Starting back here, this is where you're going to dock your tender. It's your connection point with the sea, kind of operating as your beach club. Getting in and out of the water, absolute breeze. We've got a hydraulic ladder that comes out over there on the port side. It's a really cool feature, and it makes getting in and out of the water really nice. Over my shoulder, we've got the passerelle that extends for med-style docking. We're gonna step into a massive garage. This is where all the water toys get kept. Down here, we've got 2 jet skis, 3 sea bobs. You can put up to a 21-foot tender here, so tons and tons of space. It's all put in the water with this gantry crane. And again, this freed up all that space on the top deck. It's a great feature to have. And if you wanted to, you could finish this out as a beach club. But me personally, I prefer it like this. Over on the port side, we've got a little dive center. And just behind that, through this door, there's a dive compressor, the boat's water makers. We've also got the ship's converter. This is a global yacht, and the reason it can plug up everywhere is right behind there. Over here on the starboard side, we've got a little bit more business-oriented gear. We've got the Motomar hydraulics for most of the hydraulics found back here. And then behind us, we've got the FlexiFog, which is a commercial grade, over 500 gross ton rated fire prevention system that you're not usually gonna find on a yacht this size, further emphasizing how much thought went into this boat. From here, I'm gonna hand you off to Captain Addison, who's been all over the globe in this yacht. He's gonna get you a lot of technical detail. Let's check him out in the control room.
So we're just forward of the garage. This is the control room. This gives the engineer a quiet space to monitor all the systems on the boat. You've got engine gauges, generator gauges, DC, AC, and the monitoring system here. So nice, private, quiet space for them to do their thing. So from here, we're gonna walk forward into the main engine room. So this is the main engine room. You've got an enormous amount of space here, especially for an Italian build. Two massive Caterpillar 3508s putting out 1,300 horsepower. It is definitely worth noting the model of the engine, because the horsepower is important, but these are constant duty engines. They are designed to run at 100% load for 100% of their life. You may not see that in another boat. Something like a C32 is not considered a constant duty motor. We also have Northern Light generators on either side. They're exactly the same, 104 kilowatts each. Both can run the whole boat individually. The only time we run two is slow speed maneuvers, docking, anchoring, things like that, when you need all of those systems to be 100% reliable. So we saw the one workbench in the back, that's the primary one. We've also got two other workbenches here in the engine room with an enormous amount of tools. We've got a toolbox here, we've got three more toolboxes over here. The boat was really set up to be self-sufficient. We also have a lathe that allows us to mill smaller parts when necessary, bearings, rollers, bushings, things like that. We have an oily water separator and a Haman waste treatment plant. The oily water separator is fairly unique for a boat this size. It's not required, but it is recommended. It's required over 500 tons. It allows us to suck up the water from the bilge that might have an oil or diesel film on top. This will separate those two, discharge the clean water overboard, and then save the oil in a separate tank on board for discharge when we arrive to port, shipyard, whatever it might be for discharge. Allows us to be in more restricted waters. Same thing with the waste treatment plant. It allows us to be more self-sufficient. We're not required to wait until we're 3 miles or 12 miles offshore before we discharge waste. We also have a database on board called IDEA. It's a German company. They put together this software specifically for the yachting industry. It allows us to log everything on the boat. It makes our life so much easier keeping track of maintenance, crew, guests, everything. Benetti, when they did all their tests, gave us a documented range of 4,000 nautical miles at 12 knots. We've traveled enough places, we've gone enough different leg lengths and different weather conditions. I can safely say if you pulled that back to, let's say, 9 knots, you could easily get 5,500 nautical miles with your safety margin, meaning that you'd really have a realistic range around 6,000 nautical miles.
That concludes our walkthrough on today's tour of this beautiful 145-foot Benetti. She's sitting in Fort Lauderdale and really easy to set up a showing. You just met Captain Addison. He's awesome and knows this boat inside and out. We'd love to get you on board, so please feel free to contact me or my wife anytime, and it'd be a pleasure to show you Seascape.